I like, click, subscribe, do all that. You already know what time it is. Netflix time. This movie's called Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight. Hour 43 minutes long. Spoiler alert, let's just get it. So we start off in the woods. That makes perfect fucking sense, right? Then we get this mailman delivering mail to somebody's house, but ain't nobody answering the door. Then we see this lady washing blood off of somebody's clothes, and apparently she has 2 sons. Yeah, so nobody's answering the door, but all of a sudden he keeps hearing all these noises coming from down in the basement. He goes down there to take a look. He says, hey, I'm gonna get you guys some help. But as he's going to leave back out, something grabs him and pulls him in the basement. Now apparently 30 years later you got some kids going to a camp. And apparently they're in some part of Poland somewhere. They made sure they're checking all their cell phones in before camping out. And here we have Anika, our star of the movie. So apparently these kids were forced to come to this camp because they were too reliant on technology. And out there they feel technology is a sin. So they want them to join Mother Nature and all that jazz. Then you got this survival scout specialist by the name of Isa. Now apparently everybody's drawing numbers to be which team they're going to be a part of. There's going to be like 5 members in a group. And they're supposed to explore nature for like 3 days straight. Basically a whole weekend. He tells them they're going to enjoy themselves. They're going to have some fun. You might even encounter some local madmen. I'm like, what kind of shit? But as long as they're not using any type of technology, everything's okay, right? So her team of 5 is this dude named Yuka, Bartek, Anelia, and Daniel. Simplest sounding name, right, compared to everybody else. But everybody else has some type of Polish or Venezuelan name, but this is the only person that has a regular name named Daniel. Sure, let's roll with that. So the camp's getting food before they go on their great adventure, but Nika's just chilling by herself right now. She's admiring this doll that she uses as a chain for a necklace. I'm pretty sure some symbolism is in somewhere. You know, she got some type of backstory. Well, anyway, we go back to that insane house that's still standing after 30 years. That lady that was washing out blood 30 years ago is still bringing meat to the basement. But what for? Bottom line is she can't lift it, and she ends up falling in the basement. Man, she all types of fucked up. I thought she was done deal dead as shit right there, but all of a sudden she looks up and starts getting freaked out. Then you hear her scream, yeah, she is done deal dead as shit, but something starts walking out the basement. Then as everybody's waking up the next day, we see this pimped out priest pops up out of nowhere, with his fancy BMW, I might add, and he talks to the kids about the importance of not using technology. It is the devil, da-da-da-da. I'm pretty sure he's got a phone on him, probably a GPS in the goddamn BMW, like, really, dude? So our 5 campers are about to set out with Isa. So she's like, alright, let's get it popping with this 3-day hike. So Yuka and Nika get it popping, talking about some random things. Talking about she reminds her of the T-8000. Talking about some Arnold Schwarzenegger references. Compares it to Sarah Connor. It's hilarious. So Bartek's picking with Daniel for some reason. He's pretty much antagonizing him. Daniel pushes him down. He's just scraping his leg, but it ain't nothing serious. After they straighten that out, Ulick's gotta go to the bathroom. When he gets to this spot, he sees a deer dead as shit. But this is highly unusual because the whole deer is carved the fuck out. I don't see how any animal could do this, and neither can the camp counselors, campers, but Isa sees the thing. So I'm like, come on now, are you serious? I don't know what the fuck is going on with Anika right there. Also, she sees a fucking hand on a tree. I'm like, what the fuck? And then it disappears. Was that hand there, or was she just seeing things? Has she been traumatized by something? What's the deal? If there was something there legitimately, that hand was kind of big. How the fuck could it have been hiding behind that skinny ass tree? Nevertheless, back to the mission of hiking. Her and her boy get to rap it again. They get to a spot, start setting up tents. Nighttime campfire stories. Okay, so apparently all these kids are here because their parents sent them here because they over-abused their power of technology. So Ulick says he's a video game expert. He actually quit school to just keep doing his gaming. He tells Daniel he had over like 900,000 subscribers. He was about to compete in a tournament in Korea. First prize would have took home $500,000. But the parents said they had nothing with this technology stuff, so they sent him to this camp. And that's basically why he's here. I thought they was going to go over other people's stories of why they were here, but they really don't expound on that. Jump scare time! They thought they saw something in the woods that scared them, but it ended up just being a fox. Alright, so basically while everybody goes to sleep, Daniel sneaks out, goes by the water and hits a blunt. Get the weed, get it poppin', the stash. Then Anelia joins him, gets it poppin', get the smoking. Then all of a sudden she pulls out a condom like, oh shit. He talking gang of shit about how he get bitches, but really she finds out he's actually a virgin. So she gets on top of him like, nigga, you about to get this work. And you know what happens. You know what happens. This gotta happen in a movie like this. She ended up giving him the business. Afterwards, she ends up going back to the tent. Then we find out Daniel snuck a cell phone in. How he managed to do that shit? Apparently he must have had 2 and just gave them 1 or something. I don't know. Tapping on profiles. But while he's doing that, who is this coming his way? What the hell is that thing? It's a monster. The bottom line, it's some funny ass shit. He grabs him, puts him in the thing, ends up beating him against a tree. Or some Friday the 13th shit. Remember that? Then we get an Anika flashback. Now apparently she had a sister, and both of her parents, they was driving to somewhere. These goofy motherfuckers taking pictures, meanwhile a damn car's coming straight at them. You could have pulled off on the side of the road to do some shit like that. Like, come on. Next thing we know, the car swerves off and then she wakes back up. Isa wakes everybody up, it's like, hey, where the fuck is Daniel at? So Amelia tells them they was chilling by the water and shit. She goes to the water and finds a condom and some weed. They're like, there you go. While they're doing that, Anika walks towards this tree and ends up seeing blood on it. Now this counselor pisses me off because every kid over here is pretty sure there's blood on the tree. But she wants to convince everybody else it's just tree sap or something like that. Everybody knows blood is thinner than tree sap. Like, get the fuck out of here. I don't care if you're trying to keep people calm or not, but don't act like the kids are oblivious to what they're seeing. A couple of mistakes you've been making lately seems like, to me, you shouldn't be clearly the leader of this expedition. So she tells her we're gonna split up and try to find Daniel, and Ulick is like, no, we should not do that. We should all stay together. He's thinking like a real smart guy in a horror film. But they end up splitting up anyway, telling Bartek and Anelia to stay back and wait as Daniel pops up. Then he literally gives him 6 sins in a horror movie that you should not follow. Trust me, it's hilarious. And as Amelia's patching up Bartek, seems they're on the verge of getting to know each other. Meanwhile, our crew ends up going to a house. The main house of the movie. You got chicken bones and carcasses laying up on a clothesline. That should be a sign right there. It ain't good. As you notice, Ulick is standing back as far back as possible. These niggas end up opening the door and going in anyway. They start exploring the house. Sees a deer head on the mantle. Sees a picture of the 2 boys. Apparently they're brothers. They open up the cellar to the basement. Isa and Nia go down in the basement, and what do they find? They find the mother's head chopped off and Daniel down there dead as shit, strapped up. They try to go back up the steps, but then the brother came back. It's a big monstrosity looking thing. So they gotta find a way to get the fuck out. They bust a hole through the bottom and get out. He's coming down the steps, niggas about to get deaded. But he's about to climb out too. Then all of a sudden, she notices Daniel's phone is ringing like, oh shit, he's actually got a phone. So she's actually gonna fight this fucker to try to get the phone out of his pocket. Yeah, okay. So they think to themselves, what the fuck is she doing? Needless to say, she got done deal in 2 seconds as her head gets tossed through the fucking thing. Yeah, it's time for y'all to get the fuck out. Then we go back to these 2. We find Anelia is basically a hoe. She's trying to find real love, living by her own rules, all that bullshit. We find out Bartek is actually gay. He's been disowned by his dad. His dad sent to this camp so he can meet other women. His father knows he's gay, but he just basically disregards it. Meanwhile, Anika and Ulick are running. We get an Alien 2 reference.
Game over, man. Game over.
Yes, he literally said that. So a horror movie that's referenced Terminator already and Aliens. Good job. So now they gotta find a way to either get help or get back to the others, or do something very stupid and try to get Daniel's phone. Let's go back to these niggas just sitting around doing nothing. He starts giving this big old speech to Anelia. This guy must have been a quiet killer because he turns around, she's stuck out of nowhere, he got a fucking pole in her back. Anelia done deal dead as shit. Who's this killer? He doesn't look like the one we've been seeing. Oh, it's the brother. Yeah, it's 2 of these motherfuckers in the woods, man. There you go, clear a picture of the other one. Yeah, it's confirmation, she's dead as shit. So while Bartek's running through the woods, he ends up running to this chapel, and you see the BMW out there? Pretty sure the priest is there. Meanwhile, Nika and Ulick go to this other cabin in the woods. He's asking one guy for help, and then he tells him to stay here where it's safe. Apparently, he knows what's going on out here in these streets. Bartek, meanwhile, goes to the pastor, tells him the situation. He tries to call for help, nobody's responding. He got his cell phone. But we already knew he was full of shit when it came to the technology stuff, even at the beginning of the movie. So that's not really a surprise. What is a surprise, though? How calm he's been acting when he told him the whole story. Then he said the phone in the church didn't work, then all of a sudden it started ringing. Yeah, the landline phone. So before Bartek could even shout what the fuck, the priest whacks him in his head with a fucking wooden mallet. Next thing you know, he's tied up in a chair, and the priest is like, yeah, I remember you from last year. I guess he knew he was gay already, so I have no idea what this guy's planning. I feel like the priest wants to do certain activities, but then he hears something outside, so he goes out there to take a look, and apparently somebody started up the wood chipper, so you thinking to yourself, who the hell else is out here? And as soon as he turns around, puts his fingers in his eyes, finishes him, then he tossed him in the wood chipper. God damn, that's a horrible way to go. I have to say that's pretty rare. You usually don't get that in horror movies. I mean, when the last time you see somebody thrown in a fucking wood chipper? While that's going on, he unties himself, looks out the window, he sees what the fuck is out there, and he hides in the confession booth. But then he found them. Oh shit, Bartek's about to be dead as shit. Meanwhile, he tells them a story about the 2 brothers. They were just 2 little kids playing with their dog. Also, they look up in the sky, it's a fucking explosion. They go to visit the carnage. It looks like some type of meteorite or something. Later on, their mom's tucking them in, reading them his horror story. And that's where the title of the movie comes from. And right off the back, you can tell these boys are very monotone. They don't smile, laugh, cry, anything. They're just very still. So I'm thinking to myself, what kind of psychological behaviors do they have to begin with? And 2, what has their mother been teaching them all these years? I mean, look at her. She looks like a fucking witch, honestly. After everybody goes to sleep, we realize that the boys had took the meteor and put it under their bed. How the hell they get it past their mother? Who knows? Well, anyway, one of them hears noises, looks under the bed. The meteor's spewing all this black stuff on some yellow, on some venom symbiote shit. My bad. And it goes through his veins to the one that's sleeping. What the fuck? And it gets to the other one too, and they don't even scream or anything. They're just accepting it and shit. Like, what the fuck? Next thing you know, mom wakes up the next morning, goes by the basement. Oh no. She checks out the basement and see the kids were eating the fucking dog. What in all the fuck? Then they had all these bumps on their legs. Like, what the hell? So the mother just locked her kids in the basement, and she basically would just feed them from there. So now they get the gist of what these brothers are, I guess. Been 30 years of mayhem, they obviously grew, and you see what they look like now. Anika is intent on trying to figure out something. She's not going to just sit there and wait for death. She's thinking to herself, she needs to get Daniel's phone. And I'm not really sure what that's going to do, considering there's no service out here anyway. I guess she's got to try to do something. So they go back to the house. Yuka's going to cause a distraction so Anika can get the phone. There's only one of them down there, which is all fine and dandy, but the problem is you don't even know where the other one's at. So if he is the only one in the house, you better hurry the fuck up and get this plan popping. She gives him her knife just for protection, and now he's ready to cause a distraction. He starts banging on the front door. The brother goes upstairs for a little bit so Anika could come in and start checking Daniel for the cell phone. She gets the phone, but the brother wasn't falling for that shit. He just stayed down there and he's about to get her. So he's pretty much about to choke her to death. All of a sudden, Yuka stabs him, but it don't do no damn bit of good. The next thing you know, he starts chewing on his face. It's like, what the fuck? And as Anika's knocked out, we get more of the flashback. This is right after her parents crashed a car. We find out her entire family died in that car crash that day, which is sad for her and her sister. I still think the parents are fucking retarded, trying to look the other way taking selfies while driving. That was just fucking stupid. They could have easily pulled over and did that shit. So Anika finally wakes back up. They both change to the wall and Yulik is all the way fucked up. She gets the phone, but the phone's low on energy. She tried to call 911, but then the phone died. You risk all that to get the phone and ends up dying on you anyway. And quite honestly, I don't think it would have worked regardless, because I don't think they got no service out there. Wasted time getting the phone. On top of that, Yulik's about to die anyway. He just says, yo, just fucking end me. It takes her a while, but she finally twists the knife in his stomach. Done deal, dead as shit, that's it. So she's literally by herself now. So we get to the Matuzlik brothers. Yeah, they finally tell us their names in the last 10 minutes of the movie. They're just grumbling at each other because you can't really hear anything they're saying. They don't use words. The one on the bed is about to go to sleep, and the other one picks up an axe like he's about to go to work. I guess he has some blood in his bowl or something, who knows? It's crazy how a meteorite changed them into these things. But to be quite honest, it seemed like they were the type to not give a fuck about anything even before they took place. So with Anika pretty much thinking everything's dead and with no hopes around her, she does use her knife to break out of the locks and jerks the chain and get away. But at this point, she's like, man, fuck this shit. She picks up a big ass machete from down the basement like, alright, it's time to go murk niggas. She sneaks upstairs to the sleeping brother and stabs him repeatedly in his neck, his chest, his stomach, all that shit. Blood coming through the bed, you know he's completely fucked up, right? Done deal, dead as shit. Then she gets to running. Then the old guy hearing noises at his door. He gets his gun, he about to bust niggas. Whoever was coming in didn't knock, he was just trying to open the door. Byline goes outside to see who he shot. It was fucking Bartek. How the hell, first off, how the hell did he stay alive? Two, why would you just barge into somebody's cabin? All you do is knock. So however you stayed alive from coming from the church, you end up dying being dumb, not knocking on a damn door. You big dummy. Then we see this cop car out in the middle of the forest. This guy's talking about a situation with his brother. Basically talk about his entire life. So this one prostitute just be smashing on. Then she goes about her business. Then Anika comes out of nowhere and is like, yo, she finally finds a police car. She's like, hey, she getting help. So she's like, yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. She riding in the backseat traumatized. And apparently he hit something on the road. He goes back to check and see what it is. But she sees who it is. She tries to tell the police officer, come back, don't do it. There's a this fucker right here. He can't get his gun out in time, you goofy. And he gets split in half with an axe. The child locks on, she can't get out. Oh no, Anika, come on, help us, we gotta get out of here. She kicked the window out and got in the front seat. He's on top of the car trying to chop it down because he can't get it started. Then she gets it started and runs his candy ass over twice. You get fucked up out here in these streets. And she drives on and gets the hell out of there. Hooray, she made it. Then we get a post-credit scene with these motherfuckers walking at night. What the hell is this? This bastard's still alive? How? Then we back at the house. What the fuck? How is he still alive? He was stabbed to death multiple times. What is this? Some police get to the house, oh, they're gonna catch his death in mayhem. And guess what? They do have a sequel to this movie, which I'm about to review right after this. Nobody Sleeps in the Woods tonight on Netflix. Check it out, like, subscribe, do all that. You already know what time it is. These are the easy bits. Big, could have got this slogan.